So Gavin Newsom's going to win the election for president of the United States. The GOP doesn't really have anyone with Riz. If they have someone with Riz, he's hiding. Right? And Democrats don't really have a lot of people with Riz. But they do have Gavin Newsom, who I think blows everyone else out of the water. There's one point that I should have made in my previous video, and it was a mistake for me to admit this. But, you know, there is one other person beyond Gavin Newsom who could win a presidential election. And that person is Stephen A. Smith. He could win a presidential election. I think he could actually win the presidential election regardless of whether or not he ran as a Republican or a Democrat, although he would have trouble winning the Democratic nomination going up against Gavin Newsom. However, Stephen A. Smith's big problem is desire. I just don't think that he has the desire to run for president. And, you know, you also have to consider that Stephen A. Smith has a lot to give up too. He's got a Sirius XM show. He has an ESPN show. He's got a lot of other stuff going on. He's writing books and things. So I don't see him putting all that down to run for president and hoping that he wins. We've seen this happen before. Mike Huckabee, most notably, running for president multiple times and failing. You know, at both points, actually, I think having respective career peaks, right? I think the first time he was running he decided to run for president, he had a Fox News show that he gave up so he could run for president. Second time he ran for president, he had a late night talk show on TBN that I think was slowly starting to gain some steam that he then also gave up to run for president. It's a massive calculation when you have a career that you leave, especially in the media, to run for president, and then you lose. Then it's like, what do you do? Because the thing about the media industry is that it's very fast paced, right? It's very fast paced. You can't just like leave and then come back, you know, especially when you have a very high profile role. And it's one of those things where like you better hope that you hold on to your job, because if you lose that job, you are very likely going to sort of fall off the face of the earth when it comes to, you know, media presence, right? So like, where's Sam Ponder now? You know, Sam Ponder didn't even do anything wrong. She was just laid off, but because she was on what, like Sunday NFL Countdown or whatever, and then got fired, there really was nowhere higher up for her to go unless she was like gonna like host like Sports Center or something. So yeah, I know that I'm kind of switching topics there, but suffice that to say, Stephen A. Smith is the only man who can save us from a Gavin Newsom presidency, and you know, it's really up to him as to whether or not Gavin Newsom wins the presidential election.